Hello, and thank you for joining me on the show today. This is the Now Talks, a collection of inspiring personal stories and leadership lessons from some of the world's most iconic leaders. It is the weekly podcast for women in leadership, brought to you by Nations of Women. My name is Dr. Tina Alton, and I'm your host for today and the coming weeks. Welcome to our new series, the Reset Framework, or better still, the Now Reset Framework. And it has been my 5 key steps to starting any new year really, really well. And so today we're going to look at the first one within the Reset Framework. Because the end of the year really has a way of speeding up everything around you, deadlines, emotions, expectations, and if you're not careful, you could easily get swept into the noise without actually ever stopping to breathe. I don't know about you, but when have you at the end of the Christmas day, for example, felt like, oh, I feel really energized, or do you feel like I'm so exhausted? I'm so tired, or maybe even before Christmas Day, like you feel so exhausted because it's like I've been working really, really hard, nonstop, and you just can't wait to put the brakes on. But then it's not possible because Christmas comes, there's family, there's celebrations, there's so much speed. And the truth is, leaders don't just you don't just enter into another year or new season on autopilot. It's very true. When you speak to great leaders, you'd find that they have already planned the year out and they enter with great intention. They're intentional about everything that's happening. So today's episode is really about one thing, helping you to create space. And that is the space to think, the space to breathe, the space to hear. What are the thoughts that you're thinking? The space to check in what's really going on in my heart, and the space to reset before you begin again. This is the first step within the reset framework, and it's all about retreating. It's the one most women leaders often skip. Even though, in my opinion, in my experience, it's the one thing that also shapes everything that comes next. So let's slow down long enough to build strength for the new year. Retreat doesn't mean disappearing into some mountains or some cave somewhere, a woman cave somewhere. It just means taking deliberate time to step back so they can actually step forward with more clarity. The Oxford Dictionary would define retreat as withdrawing to a quiet or secluded place, but you can actually retreat in your living room. You can retreat in your office. You can retreat even in your car before you walk into the house. So retreat, in my experience and in my own life, is as simple as an intentional pause. It's a reset for your mind, for your emotions, for your spirit. Just a moment to recharge before you actually lead others again. When I say lead others, I don't mean go back to the office, but the moment you work home, if you've got kids, you're leading your kids, you're leading your family, right? So you're always leading and you're leading yourself as well. So every high performing leader learns to build rhythms of retreat. Not because, oh, you know what, oh, they're very weak. No, no, no. But because when you learn to retreat with intention, clarity comes. And clarity requires quietude. So why does it matter for you as a leader? Truth is, when you don't pause, like you'll be making decisions from fatigue and not really from wisdom, responding emotionally instead of actually looking to take time to think this through thoroughly. And then life becomes a survival mode rather than actually, I want to thrive. So when we retreat, when we step back, it strengthens our ability to think better, our resilience, our emotional maturity, the ability to actually discern what matters, what counts, what's God telling me, how's He directing me, and your entire leadership posture is strengthened. So here's the truth though, you can't build a really strong or powerful 2026 if you're actually running on empty right from 2025. Retreat is also not an escape. It's very important. I have to add that it's not an escape. It's actually preparation. It's not about rituals or any sorts of that. It's really helping you to reflect, find, gratitude and recalibration. When you pause long enough to notice what's happening within yourself, then it helps you to be more centered. And it also helps you to be more able to hear the direction for your next season. And retreat gives you the room to let go of some of the emotions that, weigh you down because we all go through the emotions. The truth is, um, either we're mature or we're not. And my mom, shared something with me that really stuck with me. She said there's always two possible outcomes. I'm just going to quote it. Two outcomes are always possible. Either we change for the better or we change for the worse. The difference lies in how you respond. Standing still leaves no room for growth. So when we retreat, it gives us that room to be able to acknowledge where we have grown, to process some of the things that actually tested us, also to appreciate, some of the things that have strengthened us. And also for me personally, most important to be able to receive a fresh perspective on, what God is saying to me, how's He directing me for the new path, the new time, the new year, the new season ahead. And rarely, rarely, rarely do you find clarity in a state of chaos. It very, very rare. In fact, I've not experienced clarity in the middle of chaos when I'm literally right in the middle of chaos that I am contributing to. Right. Sometimes, yes, chaos can be around you. You can still find peace. That's different to, when I'm contributing to the chaos. So my whole life is in chaos, or parts of my life is in chaos. I'm not going to have clarity. So, what are some of the practical ways to retreat? And you don't need 2 weeks, so that's good. You still get to be around for Christmas. You just need to be intentional. Number one, just create your own personal reset hour or reset half an hour, whatever it is. Just time for you to, self-check in quietness, maybe with classical music or just, nice, quiet, relaxing music, and just be honest. Right. And then you can ask yourself some of, these questions. I put 3 questions down. What actually drained me this year? What renewed me? And what needs my attention before I get into this new year? It's very, very important. Right. And then the second practical way is do a gratitude sweep. Write down 10 things that really, really strengthened you in this year and 10 things that you're so grateful for. And one of the things was one of the days we woke up a little bit late. The entire family, myself, the kids, we all woke up late, which is like, how is it even possible that as a whole family, nobody's alarm, worked, or if it worked, then none of us had through. My son, my daughter, myself, we were all, late by the time we woke up. So the kids were going to school late. We were leaving a little bit later for work. And what happened was by the time we normally drive through country lanes, and by the time we'd got to, the turn off to the country lane, it transpired there was a big, great, great, great big lorry. And like if we had been that little bit early, I think we would have been caught up in all of that, um, challenge on that tiny little country lane. So it might feel like, well, that's nothing, but that's a big deal because if God really wanted us to be awake on time, He would. Only He can, actually. Only He has the power and the authority to wake us up. I mean, 1,000 alarm clocks. next to somebody who's passed away would never wake them up. So that is gratitude. We have to find gratitude even in the smallest of things. And then we also have to declutter our mind and our environment. Could be your drawer, your desk, whatever it is that is, impacting your environment needs to be reordered. Maybe old files, just physical clarity helps just to bring a mental clarity and freshness to you. And then obviously emotionally as well, perhaps conversations that you have with people that is just a drain. It just leads you down rabbit hole, just crazy stuff. Just, clear it out. Close some of the doors that you know are just diverting you from purpose, diverting you perhaps from thriving, living meaningfully. Not every friendship is okay. Some friendships, sometimes you just have to let go. You have to prune because pruning is not loss. Pruning actually brings growth, and you'd never experience that growth until and unless you have been pruned. But that is, a personal choice. Um, so you have to remember to step away so that you can return stronger. Retreating is not running away, it helps you to actually get back to yourself. So to step away so that you can return stronger. Also, when you pause, you're able to hear some of the things that perhaps you have been ignoring, right? And then retreat can help you to protect um, sometimes some of the things or situations or decisions that have been, happening because you're always in a rush. Okay. And if you want a strong year or strong new year, you have to create room for it. You have to make room for it. So some thoughts to, reflect on. When was the last time you paused long enough to actually understand how truly you feel? What intentional noise is actually stopping you from hearing God's direction for your life clearly? What parts of you need a rest, not necessarily more effort? Need a rest means you're not striving. You're not striving for anything, but you're actually in a place of thriving. You're just trusting in God fully and completely. And what would you change if you gave yourself, for example, an hour a week in order to reset? Write these down, be honest, and being honest with yourself always helps you to set the right direction as well. So some action points: schedule a 60-minute retreat hour this week, your phone off, social media off, everything. Just get notebook or notepad and pen and go through, the exercise I've already shared. And then also write down your gratitude list. At minimum 10 things you're great. You should be able to find one thing every single month. Now, I know challenges, there has been challenges this year. I know people have been greatly challenged. We've all gone through challenges, but it's also not without things that we can be grateful for, right? Number three is your physical space. Start with something small. Number four, identify, what I call an emotional weight that you just need to let go. And then just declare it out loud. This is not going to follow me into the new year. Whatever that is, procrastination, it doesn't matter what it is. The limit you place on your life is based on the weights that you carry that truly you don't need to carry. Okay. And so retreat is not necessarily, oh, I've got to slow down and talk and live in slow motion. No, it's about strengthening your foundations. When you pause with intention, you're able to enter the new year with clarity, with more energy and a better focus. We were not designed to run endlessly. We were designed to be people who are not striving, right, to lead with wisdom, and wisdom comes when we're intentional. Um, and it's very important as well to give yourself that gift of space this month, because everything you're going to build in the coming year 2026 will grow from the clarity that you learn to cultivate right now. So if you've already reset, or you're ready to reset before the new year begins, then I want to invite you to join us for our Vision Day coming up in January. It's a powerful space we, set aside to focus on what's the vision that God has given us, what's the direction that He's given us, and what is He calling us to build in this new year that's coming. Until then, remember to stay focused, to stay faithful, and to stay bold. And that's all for this week. You've been listening to Dr. Tina Alton with the Now Talks, the weekly podcast for women in leadership, brought to you by Nations of Women. All that remains is for me to say have a fantastic week, stay safe, and reach out if you need any help now at nationsofwomen.com. Until next time, enjoy the pursuit of your potential, and remember, now is your time.